Dominic, good afternoon to you. The afternoon time 107. 107. Today is Friday, the 20th of March. Can't believe the month is moving by so quickly. It means that all of us are getting older. Huh? By the minute, by the second. You can't avoid us. And when you're getting old, it comes quicker. Remember when you used to be young and we used to wish for 16 or 18 to get your license? It takes so much time. Now it's you have to roll with the punches. Dominica, we're doing something special this afternoon. I'm sure for the past few days you have heard this big promotion going on. So we're doing it for Deboche today, okay? So stick around. Time to stand for Deboche.
If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Deboche.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The courts. Call and make your contribution to save Deboche this Friday. 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Deboche.
We taking blows. Can't sweep or wash your clothes. Far up there.
All right, Dominica. I'm hoping you're standing by to make that pledge. Of course, the activists are standing by. Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back. This is Q95, the Talk on the Block.
Presents Shrink with Intent. The ultimate White Silent Headphones Party, Volume 2. Volume 2. Featuring Dominica's finest, DJ Snow, Selector Urban, DJ Ren, DJ Flip the Boss, DJ Day, Mika Labadi, DJ Abby, and DJ Slim at the party. With Al Willis, YouTube sensation, DJ Style. Your Barbie Faithy, Wada G, and TK Combo. It's all going down at the Rail Saturday, April 4. Admission, early bird $60, tier 2, $80, and tier 3, $100. Tickets sold at Cozy Corner or online at ticketball.com. Drink with Intense, the ultimate all-white solid headphone party volume 2. It's gonna This event is sponsored by Belfast Estate, BB Run, Discover Dominic Authority, Sunplace Hotel, Big W, Research IGA, Johnny Walker, Pirates Limited, Serrano, Hennessy, Malibu, KFC, DJ Median, K-Bits, Vibes Radio, Humble Visual, Astafan, Magnum Tonic Wine, Chef Ali, GBA Enterprises, Bounty Rum, Chairman's Reserve, DDA Styles Travel, The Rel, Cozy Corner, The Thigh, High Garden Limited, Mikael's Courtyard, Mika Henderson Inc., One Thames Bar and Grill, Flo Dominica.
When you want the leg, you do shop at SCS. Better than the rest, go shop at SCS. And they all convert, shop at SCS. You get more for life, shop at SCS. SDN. Yeah, shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. What is that? Shop at SDN. SDN's family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price is Madam and Monsieur, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SDN. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SDN. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. My grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Roseland.
Get ready to press it on.
South City Gombe. South City Gombe. South City Gombe.
When I now back the way. Oh, from a TSC, well,
The repeat of the Global V1Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution led by the infatigable UNICEF and others will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utang BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva Estate, the struggle of Grand Bay residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Grand Bay and the expansion of the village and community onto the Geneva Estate. South City Gombe, South City Gombe, South City Gombe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how with the brave leadership of UNICEF and others help securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva Estate for Grand Bay residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global V1Q celebrating the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q95 FM, the big station.
Don't get ready for the massive UWP General National Meeting in Nayu Saturday, March 21st. A massive crowd of patriotic Dominicans will gather to hear and to be informed of the state of the estate of Dominica. Team Dominica, the United Workers' Party, and thousands of dedicated supporters. Cost of living in Dominica is suffocating. Saturday, March 21st. Join the United Workers' Party. The silent majority is ready. From the north, the south, the east, and the west, an impactful lineup revealing shocking revelations. Stand with confidence for liberation and salvation. People in Dominica are frustrated, disappointed, even betrayed. You are not alone. The masses will converge in line Saturday, March 21. Come and join the crowd. Be part of history with the UWP, the United Workers' Party. Power must change hands. This election cycle, it's all the way with the United Workers' Party. Surprising revelations.
We man that's been for too long, not making no more.
Turn to stand for Dewash.
If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Dewash.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The courts. Call and make your contribution to save Dewash this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Dewash. Dominica, I'm ready. I hope you're ready.
Oh, good it is to see your glory rising. Living the morning.
Waking up to the beautiful island, nature island, huh?
Early in the morning. Pleasant it is to hear the birds them say.
Why is it we want to destroy this gem of the Caribbean?
Not the devil on it. What you know, give thanks and praises for his mercies, for the mercies towards humanity. Yeah, yeah. Won't you know, give thanks and praises for his glory, for the glory towards humanity. Santa Masakana.
One of a number of Dominicans standing for Debauche, huh? Nasio, reggae sensationalist. Reggae sensation. Simply not giving up on the struggle. And we have other patriots in the studio at this time
I'm gonna tell you
to speak of the struggle and why we're here. But before we move on,
there is time
you've been hearing a lot about the stop order
under his mercy's God.
from the authorities.
No.
And one of the patriots
We've been letting you deny it.
is here to, of course, speak to that and read the document before we start the process going at this time. David Shaga, good afternoon to you. How you doing?
Afternoon, brother man. How you doing?
All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just come to bring a little clarity because after last week, Tuesday, when Nasio and I stand up and sit down in front of that Chinese crane, and then a busload of police is then sent to assist the Chinese to break the law. This is the first time that Rastafari has had to be a law enforcement officer, because although they've sent police to rough us up, it's Nasio and I that were trying to make the Chinese follow the law. And it is the government that sent the police to override the law and assist the Chinese to break it. So that we have no ambiguity, because I don't have no partisanship, no politics at all. This is strictly truth, patriotism, and righteousness that we're dealing with. It's rightfully our creation, they're destroying it. So let me read for everybody to hear what is actually on the paperwork, the legal paperwork. This was issued in December 1st of 2025, so last year, end of last year. Development and Planning Corporation, the Planning Authority, Chapter 84-01, Laws of Dominica. Stop order on physical planning under the Physical Planning Act, Chapter 63-05. The offender, CR5, China Railway Company Number 5, Palm Tree, Woodford Hill, Commonwealth of Dominica. The authority hereby refers to the compliance notice issued to you on December 1st, 2025, and annexed for ease of reference. So let's do this very fast. A, the offense. The authority notes that on lands situated at Stonefield, Concord, you have deposited refuse or waste material, you have caused environmental damage and or affected the integrity of the environment, and you have threatened or affected the health and safety of the public by dumping soil material in close proximity to the Pagua River, and 2, commencing excavation works without first obtaining permission from the Planning Authority, contrary to Section 17 of the Physical Planning Act, Chapter 63-05. Then it lists the remedy for this, because we now see the offense. The remedy is, by virtue of this stop order being served on you, you are hereby prohibited and directed to immediately cease and desist from carrying out or continuing this activity noted above, which constitute a breach of planning control or so closely associated therewith as to constitute substantially the same activity. Going on, this is very important. I want all brothers and sister citizens to hear this. This stop order shall take immediate effect on the date of its service and without prejudice. To Section 48 shall cease to have effect when the compliance notice to which it relates is withdrawn or quashed, the compliance period expires, or notice of withdrawal of this stop order is served on you if you carry out or cause or permit to be carried out any operations prohibited by this order, you commit an offense and are liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $40,000. And if the offense is continued after conviction, you are liable to a further fine not exceeding $1,000 for each day on which the offense continues. In keeping with Section 40 of the Act, you have no right of appeal to the appeals tribunal against the making of this order. An appeal against this compliance notice to which this order relates shall not suspend the operation of a stop order. I read this because as we are speaking right now, the Chinese are violating that stop order, which went on, as you can hear, since December 1st. And meetings with Chester Ali today by other members of this movement were lied to once again and being told that authority was given to override this stop order and therefore given permission to Chinese to continue.
So where's the document?
They're unable to produce it. We have legal documentation which proves what we are saying. They have no documentation to prove what they are proposing or stating because they have no truth behind it, no actual compliance.
And you've asked for it.
Definitely. It was asked for by members of the same resistance today with Chester Ali, and they met today. Okay? Now, I would like to point out a few facts. Since the core of this, the people who actually put their feet where their mouth is, Nasio, Queen Helen, his wife, IP, and I, have stood every day for over 8 weeks. And that began long after the stop order was already in place and in full violation by the Chinese, to the extent of which police were sent upon us to violate our constitutional rights and insist that the Chinese are allowed to break the law, although they cannot provide the documents. And as I read to you, we have the documents.
I want to say thank you. And Margot, thank you, David Fagel, of course, being part of this resistance. Margot, your take before we start taking the calls.
That's right, MP in the PM. That's right. You remember Michael Peter was MP in the PM?
Yeah.
I'm giving it to you, Matt Peltier.
Thank you.
All right. Well, he just read you the stop order, and I'm going to give you the breaking news. The ESIAs have been released. That's the Save Deboche. All right. After months of pressure, the ESIA for Deboche are finally public. The Physical Planning Division have made limited copies available in Roseau. So we brought them to you. These are the public documents. Assessing them is your right. Read them, share them, submit your comments. You can do that at https://tinyurl.com/db-ESIA files. All right. So after months of, how long have we've written, pestered these people to hand it over. You have declared a whole part of the mountain, and now you're coming up with an ESIA. Where, come on, you're supposed to have this thing prior to, not after the fact.
May I add something to this?
Yes, go ahead.
Because I was there this Monday and scanned those documents in planning, in which, as Matt could tell you, I've been on your program many times.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 2.5 years ago when I first started crying out to the country saying, hey, the Chinese are taking my land without procedural process. The ESIA that they are now producing to us for Crapo Hall, okay? This ESIA, the person never actually spoke to the one person living in Crapo Hall who was being affected. So when you look at the ESIA itself, it is a mockery of process. This Isaiah Benoit, Jah will judge him, but I can observe the illegality in his actions even though I'm not his judge. For if he's doing an ESIA, how can he do an ESIA without interviewing the one person who would be socially impacted by that? How could you do an ESIA in which, in fact, on the diagrams, there's no property line showing my property or my house? So it seems to many of us who have observed both the Crapo Hall one and the Stonefield and Deblanche applications that these were never intended to be made public. Because just by looking at them, you can see, excuse the expression, the kunumunu kind of structure that, there was no adherence to law or process.
All right, Dominica. As Margot, you would explain to the public the reason we're here because you guys plan to take this legally to the court.
I've had them in court.
That's right, Matt. As you know, I represent WAVE. That's the White Kubali Advocates for Viable Environments. We go travel around Dominica, assessing all the issues. We get with planning, to find out if they are doing these things properly. All the way down to the airport. They started the airport destruction before the EIA was even done. We have asked repeatedly for that EIA since 2021, and it has never been available. Planning has not even seen it. As you know, I've had conversations with you on the radio before as to where it was delivered. It was delivered to the 6th floor at the financial center, and it has never made it to planning. This is why they cannot produce it. And it's a shame that we're just going ahead doing things. I was listening to Mr. Johnson on your show a couple of days ago, and the come on, Matt. If my mother tell me say Mati, if you saying too much come on. Where is the EIA, my brother? Why is there water surfacing on your runway right now? There's water surfacing, and he's not saying that. He didn't tell you that on your show, right? Yeah, there is water running all under there. I documented that EIA with Cliff Gerard, as I told you before. There are tributaries all under there that they cannot stop. The only way to stop that is go to Mont Diablote and mess with Diablote. And I doubt they want to do that. You know Diablote already. You cannot mess with Mr. Leave him alone.
Anyway, so we're going to start taking calls, of course, and we're taking your pledges at this time. We'll continue the conversation as we go along, though. Let's take our first call for the afternoon. It's already 1:29. Talk to me, yes?
Yes, sir. Hello?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Matt. I'm just trying to get you for a long time. But what I want to talk about here is the term aggregate that the engineers and other people using, saying that Deblanche have aggregate. Deblanche does not have aggregate. Deblanche have stones, and then the quarries have stones. And when those stones are crushed, it is crushed. Aggregate is crushed stones mixed with sand and cement to make concrete. Unless it's not mixed with sand and cement, it's not aggregate. Crushed stones is crushed stones. So they have that term aggregate wrong, and they keep talking about aggregate in Deblanche. Deblanche does not have aggregate. Everywhere in Dominica have stones. But when you crush the stones, you have to crush it to a certain level to do whatever work you have to do with it. But it has to be mixed with sand and cement to make concrete. That is when it's aggregate. It's like baking a cake. You need all the ingredients brought together as a whole to make the cake. You understand me? So they need to clarify that word aggregate.
All right, caller. Again, we're opening up the lines for you to make your contributions there too. Of course, the objective of this exercise is to raise some funds to assist with the legalities of the process. But we yes, go ahead, Sean.
Let me explain. There is a case against the Chinese and MMC and the Attorney General and the Minister of Housing and the Ministry of Planning and then Planning Division, sorry. And it is only demanding that they follow the law. That's the demand. That the Chinese, the MMC, and the government follows the law that already exists in our Constitution. I've heard a lot of false narratives by a lot of puppets and enablers. But there's no narrative here that is important. The only thing important is the truth of it. If the government is breaking the law, then the government needs to be held accountable to follow the law. If the Chinese are operating by remote control above our Constitution and using our institutions against the interest of the peoples, then that is a violation And that's not an issue of politics or narrative. That's an issue of sovereignty.
I'm gonna tell you one more time. Behold, Georgia is mighty. And then his mercy's got
Marvel, somebody who wants to, of course, pledges 50 US. I want to remain anonymous. I'll share that number with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
50 US on the table.
through the night. For them joy come in the morning light. What you know? Give thanks and praise.
Now give you at $20, you know, me go somebody at $20. Sin because like, you know, me a stand for nature, me am a Rasta man. And me a big up a special person in Fort near Rasta. You check me? So have a nice day, baby, and big up yourself. Sin Rastafari live Selassie every time.
All right.
Yeah,
Rasta.
support National Funk media with you. Sin
Thank you.
Rastafari live.
Thank you.
I will
Thank you.
check you in if I bring a $20.
All right.
Dollars
That's
for you when I come
277
tomorrow, Max.
1974. 277 1974. You're about to make a point, Ty?
Just that right now we are finally at the stage where we have filed the appeal in St. Lucia, in which the process cannot be corrupted by our current regime.
So you feel your first move was corrupted?
Well, yes, actually, when I was last in court trying to get an injunction against the government for asking them to both pay me for my land, but most importantly to comply to the law for everybody, to have an injunction that stopped the project until they complied to the law, the judge told me that I owe them $3,000.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yeah, man. I want to pledge $100 towards the cause. I think it's a great idea and a great initiative, and we need to support our causes ourselves because there's no money coming from anywhere else but from us.
You
So
say
I'm pledging $100.
100 US or 100 EC?
100 US.
100 US.
Yeah.
Pledge there from Zed Lloyd. All right, 449-309-5969. Are you there, caller? Caller, are you there? No, you're not there. Let's take another call. Are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Marigot. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right. I want to know if I pledge some money, how are you going to get? Because I do not know the different things you are doing to get the money, and I cannot go to town. I'm not giving my name right now. I'll give you 2 phone numbers.
2 phone numbers. I'll get somebody to pick it up for you. Mr. David Chagal will come to you, okay?
Excuse me?
I'll send one of the representatives to pick up. So I'm just taking your number down, okay?
All right. My numbers are 245-6299.
245.
245-6299.
All right. Oh.
And 445.
445.
8604.
86.
445-8604.
All right.
2 numbers. I didn't give my name for some reason.
Okay, no problem.
Therefore, I am pledging $100.
$100. Thank you, ma'am. They'll get in touch with you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I tell the things that them I keep down inside. Truth will reveal.
I'm trying to get the overseas line. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Hello.
Lead and George, 150 US.
Leading George. Okay, can you give us your number, please? Your number.
340.
340.
205.
205. Yes.
0316. 0316.
Okay. And you're pledging 150 US.
Yeah, somebody will drop it next week.
Okay.
I'll give it to one of those guys. You know the person very well. They'll drop it for you.
All right, no problem.
Let me make one reason I really doing that.
Yes.
The government don't convince me, because if you're going to do a project of that magnitude, before you do it, there should be a study, and the country should know exactly what to expect. It's not when you in the project You pushing down the throat of Dominicans. You have to demolish their mountain. That is wrong. And the guy said, the manager of the project, he said yesterday, he said something. And if it was in America, I say to you, the manager of that project, you would have been in jail. You cannot say because planning is part of government, they cannot go against government or they cannot stop the government. You cannot say the government cannot stop its own self. Planning is supposed to be independent, even though it's part of the government, independent thinking people.
I'm
and
so
the
glad you say
government
that.
supposed to abide by the law. God bless Dominica. Thank you.
I'm so glad you say that. Because if the government can override the court, then that means that nobody has the constitutional right to hold the government accountable. That means that any violation of human rights, property rights, or anything is okay. The government can override the courts. That cannot be true.
Well, David, it's really the chairman, which is the prime minister, who is overriding. So and in
Which is unconstitutional.
No, it's part of our law, and
No.
he's doing it.
No, it's actually if the prime minister was able to ignore the justice system completely with impunity, then you would have no form of constitutional rights.
Well, that's what the man said. He said nothing is going to stop him. No constitution,
What a man
no
says doesn't
constitution,
make it
no
true.
law.
That
But
is what he said.
Exactly.
And
So
that is another lie.
So how can we change that? How are Dominicans going to change that? This is the
way
issue,
that
David.
things change is the same way that IP, Nacio, Helen, and I stand up, and others who stand up. Because when you do not allow that and you resist it, that is how it changes.
Well, there you go. Anyway, I just want to give the GoFundMe information out right now. That is gofund.me/2785 small b 14 small a 5 2785 b14a5 gofundme.me/2785 b14a5.
And that is for WAVE. And then, as I've given Matt for the legal matter, he has the GoFundMe.
Hello, talk to me, yes?
David, I don't know why the government don't send you back to your country, Israel. That's where you need to go back.
Israel.
I've never been to Israel, bro. I've never set foot in Israel ever in my life. I've never been there. So I don't know why they would send me to a country I've never been. I'm born in the States. I left there as a teenager. I've been here for 25 years. So I think you should get your facts straight. Again, narratives may be pleasing to you, like many lies. The truth is just the truth. So if you want the truth, check the facts.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Again, the numbers to make that pledge is 449 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-427. Call and make that pledge. Saving the Debouche.
You swim in your shower. All the videos them gonna hide. They say we have no national pride. I love him as a rivers. They crying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody don't worry. They shopping up a list. Calling me forest. Now she dehydrated. And came in distress. All the champions at forestry are no longer there to protect she. Join your voice with this copy and let us preserve our country.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there? Yes?
Yes, good afternoon, myself.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm making a pledge, Title Baptist, of $500 to the cause.
$500 to the cause.
Yeah, 235-1930. So
Go ahead.
let me congratulate the people who decide to have the court address the issue. As I said earlier on, I think this is the right approach, and notwithstanding the physical protest action taking place, this is the right approach to the issue. It was unfortunate, Matt, we were not able to continue. I was not able to continue conversation with Mr. Johnson on your program earlier this week Because the point I was about to make to Mr. Johnson is that they seem to have planning permission to build a crusher at Baywash. I don't agree with the planning department the way they approached it. However, they do not have planning permission to undertake quarrying operation or mining operation at Baywash. So any mining or quarrying operation taking place there is contrary to the Physical Planning Act. The Act specifies what is quarrying, what is mining, and what is the process for considering application for these type of activities, development activities. They have not done that. So therefore, the action that is going on there is wrong. The people who are standing, that is the committee or whoever they are right now, they did name, it is good that they have standing to go to the court to let the court address the issue. Because you could be given planning permission to set up a crusher at some point in an area, but you are going to haul materials to that area for crushing. So, for example, you have at Rockaway, P.H. Williams has a crusher at Rockaway. They are not doing quarrying or mining. They do mining or quarrying elsewhere, and if they want to, they move it to Rockaway to for crushing. Likewise, the airport development bill could have decided, because there is an injunction on Crapo Hall as to the operation hours for crushing, I'm going to crush it, extract the material at Crapo Hall, do crushing to the period of time that the court provides me, and then haul, but at the same time hauling material to Baywash, where I will continue crushing at night time or whatever the case may be. This could have been a situation that could have also been an approach to look at what is the issue. So therefore, let the court resolve it. And let me congratulate you guys who decide to take the matter to court and to let the court decide on how this thing should be addressed. And I can say boldly, based on the information given by Mr. Johnson, they do not have planning permission. And finally, matter quickly, no reasonable person in Dominica is against construction of the international airport. In fact, this has been on for decades. Over 50 years, the project has been on for international airport. Every reasonable person in Dominica knows that Dominica needs a new airport, whether it is international or ordinary airport, because the existing airport, you have mountains at the end, so you want an airport operating 21/7. So, Mr. Johnson, do not come and push about giving to suggest that people are against the airport. We are not against an airport. We are just saying, do the project properly. Bye.
Thank you very much. There's another pledge there via voice note. Let's see from Maslin Edwards. Let's listen.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Margot and David in studio. Special good afternoon to you guys. Nasio and his wife, Dr. IP, Arthur Mate, Annie Edwards, Gary, Miss Brisbane, and all the rest of the patriotic Dominicans who stood for Baywash and are still standing for Baywash. I just want to say thank you as a daughter from the soil, Concord. Thank you. This fight is to preserve our land, our watersheds, and that Concord River that is so essential to the Concord community. So thank you very much. I am in full support of everything that is done to preserve Baywash from mining, from being mined by the evil, reckless government in Dominica. I would like to pledge 150 US. This is Maslin Edwards. Put my name to it. I will send it through the normal channels that I use all the time. Thank you very much. Pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Love you guys.
Love you too.
I talk him as a ravens. They trying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody do morning. They shopping up a list. All in the forest. Now she dehydrated. And looking in distress. All the champions at forestry I no longer bear the protection. Please help us, Father, and say a prayer before cemetery. River of God. We have a river for every day. We used to always post and say, now a river sprinkling, and all the springs just trickling. Used to dive sick, we are under power. Now it's better if you swim in your shower. All the beyond them gonna die. They say we have no national pride. I love him as a rivers. They crying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody don't want him. They shopping up a list. Calling me forest. Now she dehydrated.
Again, the numbers are 449-3095. We're here until 3 o'clock.
Forestry. I no longer bear the protection. Join your voice with this coffee. And let's help spread love of our country. River.
Somebody's making the comment, well, I mean, people cannot stand up for their rights, stand for their rights. It's so Dominica come.
Dominicans, we were one of this.
Mahagwesa, huh?
And your water just ankle deep. We are destroying all of creation and saying it's for development. The river so vexed when they go. Once you win your path, you have to go. I love him as a river.
Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt. I would like to contribute $100 to this noble cause.
Okay.
And to thank those who have made it to alert the nation in terms of the power of the Constitution. And let me just make a comment before I leave. We need to stop that infantile approach and narrative that asking those responsible for governance to follow the Constitution is against the airport. That is childish, that is infantile, and that is very divisive. All Dominicans want an airport. All they're saying that we have a constitution that guides us as to certain development paths that we take. So that in doing it, people are not adversely affected and the environment is not adversely affected. And to say that because you're asking to follow the constitution, it is because you're against the international airport. It is equal to say that the constitution is against the international airport because all we're asking to say is follow the guidelines of the Constitution and let us do things properly. Because we can make a terrible mistake that is irreparable and we will say, if we knew, let us be careful before we have to live in regrets. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you and good afternoon to you, yes?
Like a man, where is your country? Where is your king? Oh, where is your nation?
I'll be talking to Nas in the next few minutes.
Where is your
Again, the numbers are calling. You should call is 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097.
If you look up on the land of Ethiopia, you belong. If you look up on the land of Africa, where we belong. If you look up on the land of Ethiopia, we belong. Oh, like a man.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, nurse. How are you?
Yes, my father And he has left a lot of things for which I will not even discuss. And my heart hurts me because my mother always told me that after a wash lady that was going around Roseau and talking, say, the time will come when Marigot people and some white people, she didn't say Chinese, white people will have a big war in Marigot. I would like it not to happen. On that behalf, I am putting $100. I will bring it, sell it tomorrow, Matt. Okay?
Nasio, thank you.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
all right, nurse.
belong. If you look upon the land of Ethiopia, yeah.
All people asking for is to do the work properly. That's all. So one thing that they cannot understand is to get the work done properly, not too short, too flam. But Matt, we have a problem. Matt, listen to me right. I'm going to say it on the radio, on St. Thomas. If you pledge, labor vex. If you call, labor vex. They always have something to say. But I ain't saying, Matt look trouble. But you are the strongest, you are the leader. So your government in power. Why should you vex for if somebody else call or if they pledge? Always have something to say about your laborers in St. Thomas. Well, they say there's laborers. I don't know. They're looking for something to. Just like the mothers. But they have nothing to get. Nothing at all you have to get. Everything is for free. I feel like calling them because all of us are listening. But I'm going to live another day.
You wanted to say something, Amago?
Yes, I just got a text there asking for the numbers again to call in. I know you have the 449-3095.
96 and 97 or 616-425-7. It's right there. You can
Okay,
see
it's
that?
right there on
Or
the wall.
305-432 if you want to come from the overseas line, 305-432-9624.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt, let me just say something about this whole EIA
Yes.
business. One of my members of WAVE ran the data through AI. And AI, I mean, there's so many holes in this thing. So much data is missing. It looks like somebody stayed up the night before and put this thing together. So, I cannot understand how Dominicans are saying we don't want the airport. It's of course we want a nice looking bigger airport, bigger planes can land, but I mean there's so much issues with that airport. It is ridiculous. It started illegally, just like these mines. As they blasted Blenheim, they blasted Crapo Hall. Now they want to blast Dewash, saying then there's a specific type of stone they're looking for. I know what stone is inside there, Matt. You know what? It's copper. All right. Athi Mate and Henry Shillingford stopped that thing way back in 1996. Okay. And they tried before that, 30 years before that. Okay. Now you're trying again. And I mean, what are we doing? We keep saying water is life and we have the best water and we have the best forest. We have everything, right? And what are we doing? So this is what we're going to do to get to copper. You're going to make this mine that is the circumference of Roseau. That is a huge mine. To go 2,000 feet deep to find what? Stones? Come on. All you're seeing up there is red mud. Where's the stones?
If I can add one thing in agreement to that. It's interesting that in their paperwork, their proposed finishing date of the airport would be 2027.
Not happening.
But they are opening up a mine or quarry, they call quarry, it is a mine, that would begin operation in 2026. Does one really believe that they're planning on only mining for 1 year? Because once the airport would be completed, if it's only for the airport, then why would you be building all of this infrastructure and mining apparatus that would endure for years and years and years after the supposed end of the project that the government is saying it's for? I don't want to be unclear. Let me clarify. If you were proposing to spend millions of dollars to open up, go 3,000, it's actually 3,000 feet down to get to the volcanic core, If that was the stones you wanted, by the time you got to the core, your supposed airport is finished already. So what are you actually coring for? This is the very same as if, let's say, a Dominican didn't know what cocoa is worth. He'd never used cocoa. And somebody come and give him all the husks from the cocoa, and he takes the cocoa and goes and sells it and make his money. When they tell us tarish is for the airport, tarish is a byproduct of mining. So if you're mining for a mineral, everything that is not the mineral you're looking for, what do you do with it? You crush it into tarish. This is the same as if one would take the cocoa and leave you the husk. That's the propaganda lie, right there.
Find her anywhere not to go. No, she's a sprinkle of rip shot show. They look at my I hear they say they have got that. I talk him as a ravens. They dying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody do warning. They chopping up a list. All in the forest. Now she dehydrated. And looking in distress. All the champions at forestry are no longer there to protect she. Please help us, Father, copy and say a prayer before cemetery. River of we have a river for every day. We used to always post and say, no more river sprinkling, and all the springs just trickling.
Some are reporting that the overseas number may not be working at this time. So call my phone directly on 225-6417. I'll put you on. You can give your pledge. So it's 225. I'll put you on WhatsApp. And I will connect. Some people are trying to call from overseas but not coming through. Now it's your turn to, of course, pledge your support to Debwash. Stick around.
To stand for Debwash. If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Debwash.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The courts. Call and make your contribution to save Debwash this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Debwash. All right, Dominica on the line at this time to encourage those of you who wanting to call. It's 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. Nasio, of course, reggae sensation, who's been standing for a few weeks now. How many weeks, Nasio? 8 weeks? Rasta.
Yes, my brother. Greetings.
Greetings to you.
And greetings to all the people of Dominica, home and abroad, and to all those who are listening throughout the universe, you know?
Greetings, brother. And we're asking the question, of course, and tell the people why they should support the cause.
Well, first, you know, we have to thank all the people who have chosen to stand up for the country. We want to thank Dr. Pascal. We want to thank David, who is in the studio with you right now. We want to thank Sister Margot. We want to thank Helen, my wife. We would like to thank Jerry, Mr. Jerry Brisbane, his daughter, Janelle, Gary. We have Mr. Afsi Martin. We want to thank everyone, you know, Sister Amy, who is in the U.S. right now, Sister Mercy from Sultan, and all the people who have chosen to stand up for their country in spite of the fight on, but we are standing up. So
the movement rolls on, and we want to thank the people who had set up this funding program that David and Margo is here representing. We want to thank everyone who has made every effort to bring every goodness towards the struggle on the behalf of Dominica. Yeah.
Yes, you want to come and get it?
Hail, 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 Nas. Respect.
Respect.
Nasi, forever.
Thank you, Nasio.
All right, thank you, Nasir. Thank you for, of course, pledging your support and continue to pledge your support. Thank you, Rasta. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
For over 25 years, Dominicans, we no one of this. No our river streams, and your water just ankle deep. We are destroying all of creation, and saying it's for development. The river so vexed with the river. Once you win your cup, you have to go. I love you as a rivers. They dying slowly. They trying and trying, and nobody don't worry. They shopping up a lips, all in the forest. Now she dehydrated, and to him in distress. All the champions at forestry are no longer fair to protect she. Please wake up, to forbid, before they finish our country. River of death, river of death. The country, we show it by the Kubuni. All that they wash and say, in crowding our country, over in.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Hello, Mark.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Okay, Pat Aaron here.
Mr. Pat Aaron, how are you doing?
Okay, Mark. I want to pledge $100, and Matt, I also want to say, I'm the song Matthew, IP, and all the other guys, all the other team who's standing for me. And I want to say one more thing, Matt. This airport can never be Dominica's airport. If we ever see an airport down there, it is China's airport in part of their move to Willie America all around. This government can never be an airport. So this airport, another airport, every airport there is not Dominica airport. It can never be. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you. Pledging $100, of course. 449-309-596 and 97. The numbers again, 449-309-596 and 97. Okay.
If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Dewash.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The courts. Call and make your contribution to save Dewash this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Some calls
Save Dewash.
Some calls are coming in. The hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, my brother. How you doing?
Good. Matt, you know Bagay movie.
Oh,
Upon reflection, I'm pledging an additional $100.
$100.
Because I think where I own my property, at some point in time, this activity may negatively impact me. So I'm standing up with an additional $100.
All right, thank you, Rasta. Thank you. All right, let's see if we can get a voice note there. Let's do this. Yes, that's it. Sorry about that. No, everybody's calling myself no, because of course other avenues are not available. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Hello.
How are you?
Matt.
Yes. $100 US?
To you.
Was it that?
Yep.
Thank you. And I'll give them your number. Thank you very much.
I give thanks.
Thank you. It's 470-546-6200. Okay? That caller from Atlanta.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to your guests in studio.
How are you, sir?
Matt, I would like to pledge 150 US to the cause. You have my number.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. The number is 1-732-268-9817. That's Gertrude. I want to contribute $200 EC dollars. That's Mr. Cyrus Raphael. I have his number. I'll share that with you. It's 1-619-922-4122. Good afternoon. I want to pledge $50. I don't think they have more banking, but I'll collect on their behalf. Okay, Cecilia? Down there in Victoria Street, Newtown. And the number to contact is 245-0360. Cecilia.
They trying and trying, and nobody don't worry. They chopping up a list, all in the forest. Now she dehydrated, and no game in me stressed. All the time you got forestry, and no longer bear the protection. Please wait.
Margot, can you of course give your number? Some people want to send there, maybe the Western Union or Cash App or something.
All right. Well, we do have a Cash App. That's cash. cash.app/$AIMS76.
All right, so repeat that, please.
Cash.app/$AIMS76. AIMS76. $AIMS76.
All right, thank you.
Total madness, you see. Even great fish and lobster, they feeling the pressure. River of death, river of death.
All right, the pledges are coming in more than anything now. Of course, a lot more people are calling in at this time. Of course, I think the tech may have worked on something there. It seems to be working a little more better there.
Thank you.
Yes. Hello, talk to me. Yes, good afternoon.
Hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. I would like to make a pledge of $50.
$50. Can you give us your number, please?
276
276
76
24. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Bye-bye. Save your Dominica.
They trying and trying, and nobody don't worry. They chopping up a list, all in the forest. Now she dehydrated, and no game in me stress. All the champions at forestry, and no longer bear the protection. Please help us, Father, and say a prayer before cemetery. River of death. We have a river for
Matt, first of all, I want to thank David, who I heard someone on the radio call the radio station and tell him he should go back to Israel. And I know he's an American already, so they've got it all wrong. I want to thank all the people who stand, the Patriot Dominicans who are standing, Afimate, Nasio, the lot. I am going to pledge, but I'm not going to pledge on radio because my people tell me already, do not let nobody know what you're selling because they're taking note of it. Anyway, thank you very much.
All right, okay. So let us know, okay? Personally.
For over 25 years, Dominicans, we were one of this. Now our river streams and your water just can't take. We are destroying all of creation and saying it's for development.
Hey, Sarah, somebody says that from St. Thomas. You called, huh? But you did not pledge. So why did you not pledge? Okay, I'm passing the message. Sarah, call and make the pledge. The laborers are listening to you, huh? Pressure.
All the time the black forestry and no longer bear the protection. Please wake up and turn to me before they finish our country. River of Texas.
All right, some people just tuned in late again. Mango, can you explain again what the purpose of this pledge in there?
Well, the purpose of this pledging is to assist us in making them do the right thing. If we have to go to the courts, we're taking it to the courts. Okay, and in order to do that, we need the resources. As you know, in Dominica, things tight, as they say. So, this is really going to help us. Everything costs, including transportation, getting up there, everyone is doing work and no one gets paid. Okay, this money is not for us. This money is to make this thing happen. You cannot continue to destroy
and everybody
these
says,
mountains.
take it to the court. Take it to the court.
Well, it's the court it have to go. The Supreme Court it have to go at this point because hold on, David.
Yes.
Because at this point, the law has been just bastardized to no end. Because you cannot tell me planning was the one that made this stop order. Okay, so you cannot just override planning. That is their job. You're doing the wrong thing. It's their job to say, stop it. Okay, and you cannot just go back and behind their back and continue. The Chinese don't care about us. They don't care about Dominica. They came to get what they get in and they're going to take it. If it's given to them, you allow them to take it, they are going to take it. So we have to stop that. And people need to stop this nonsense about, it's over there. Let me tell you something. It was at Blenheim. It moved to Crapo Hall. Now it's in Desbois. What's next? Chwapito? What's next? Pokase? Until it's in all your backyard, then you're concerned. This is very serious, guys. Blenheim didn't have an EIA. Crapo Hall did not. They're just doing what they want out there. We have got to stop this before it's too late. End of story.
Yeah, I just want to make one point here, okay? Because it is important that if somebody is giving their money, they know where their money is going. So I don't want, as I, with my word and my mouth, is asking for assistance, I want to be clear to people, okay? I have a case against them in which I have had to be my own lawyer, in which I am certainly not a lawyer. Now we have gotten to the point in which we are now filing the appeals case to get the injunction, and any monies donated that comes to INI will be directly used for that legal process to be able to achieve an appeal which gets an injunction, so that until they actually follow the environmental laws, the Land Acquisition Act, and pay the people they have to pay and respect the creation under the law, then that is what this case is for, and that is what any donation that comes to INI will be used for. When Nasio and I and IP and Helen are standing up there, we have no distraction on politics. This is about the case. We physically stand up there to defend the area, and we have a case that's now going to the appellate courts in St. Lucia. That is what we need the finances for, so there's clarity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Again, on behalf of the Electoral Reform Coalition, they're pledging $300. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Electoral Reform Coalition, $300.
Protection. Join your voice with this happy. And let us preserve our country.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's, of course, that song is very timely, huh?
Yes.
Very timely.
Kaiso.
Red.
That's right.
For over 25 years, Dominicans, we were one of this. Now our streams and your water just have guilty. We are destroying all of creation and saying it's for development. Once you win your path, you have to go. I love him as a rivers. They dying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody don't worry. They chopping up a lips. But in the forest, now she dehydrated. And looking in distress. All the champions at forestry are no longer there to protect she. Please wake up and go to the beach before they finish our country.
Again, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Support the cause. 616-4257. 305-432-9624.
Over in Wesley City, till we take it close. Can't sweep or wash your clothes. River of death, river of death. But your soul and energy, develop and
Margot, give us that cash up again. Some people would prefer to do cash up.
That's cash.app/$ capital A small I MS 76. Cash app /$ AIMS 76.
All right. Another 100 US, 410-206-0946. Okay? 100 US.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Debush.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The court. Call and make your contribution to save Debush this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Debush.
All that they wash and say, in Canada, over in Wesley City, till we take it close. Can't sweep or wash your clothes. She was fat and juicy, and used to want to dive in she. She was full of life and energy. She wiggle with vitality. You can find her anywhere that to go. Now she's a sprinkle of rich show. She looking maga. I hear they say she have cancer. I love him as a rivers. They dying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody don't worry. They chopping up a lips. All in the forest. Now she dehydrated. And looking in distress. All the champions at forestry are no longer there to protect she. Please help us, Father, and say a prayer before cemetery. River of
Of course, environmentalist Athi Martin.
We have a river for every day. We used to always.
It's part of the team fighting for Debush. And is here on the line to speak to us for a while. Athi Martin, good afternoon to you. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Matthias. Gertie, how are you?
I'm here with the struggle.
Thanks for the effort. I just want to make a slight amendment to the words of that song, which says the rivers are dying slowly. The rivers are dying rapidly. The rivers are dying rapidly because we're not paying attention, and we who benefit from having all those rivers and fresh water, we are not reinvesting in maintaining the river bank, in maintaining the water catchments, in preventing, uncontrolled excavations from river beds, etc., by people building things in Dominica. There are laws in Dominica that would allow us to keep our rivers alive and well. And one of these laws is in the Physical Planning Act of Dominica. Because that Physical Planning Act says, yes, development involves moving things around. If you're going to plant bananas, you have to dig a hole in the ground. So it means you have to move soil. But there's a way to do it well, a way to do it that will actually ensure that you don't destroy the land in your attempt to plant and grow bananas. And that is the principle of environmental protection and management, which is what the planning laws in Dominica require us to do by law. It's not a voluntary thing anymore. It's the law says if you're going to do a project that has any impact on the natural environment, you must subject that project to an impact assessment. That means somebody with the knowledge has to come in and say, if you're going to put that facility, that building, that airstrip, that port in that area, these are the issues that you are going to be confronted with. And these issues, if not properly built into your designs, you are going to create more problems than create benefits and advantage. For example, we are building an airport. And it is the construction of that airport that creates the need for aggregate material, rocks to be crushed for use in the construction of that airport. If there was no such project going on, we would not have a debauch issue today. But we do have that debauch issue because somebody in their mindlessness looks at a mountain and believes, oh, that mountain, look, we're seeing some stones at the bottom of the mountain by the Debauch Bridge, so it means that they have stones inside there. Of course there are stones. But the question is, what is going to be the impact on the mountain, on the forests, on the soils, and on the rivers? If you have to go in there and get stones of a volume and a quantity to do your project. That's why planning laws require that you do that impact assessment. Not after you start, before you begin, you must do the impact assessment and bring that report to the planning division, which is the only authority in Dominica by law that can give you permission to go forward or can say you cannot go forward. And even when they will give you permission to go forward, they say these are the issues you must pay special attention to and deal with as part of the project. And so that is why before you lift one shovelful of soil on a project, you have to get planning permission. You have to get that permit based on your design and based on your impact assessment. The situation we are confronted with there's a lawlessness that is taking place in Dominica, where people are proceeding with projects because they say it's a government project and you cannot tell the government what to do. But the law is bigger and higher than the government. The Constitution is our supreme law, and any law made in accordance with that Constitution must be followed not just by the individual citizens and companies in the country, but by the government itself. In fact, one would argue the government is like the parent. You cannot, as a parent, tell your child, do as I say, not as I do. Your child is looking at you to give them a living proof by the example of what you are doing. And then they will believe that what you are saying makes sense to them. Sadly, the airport project has proceeded like the Deboche quarrying effort without the benefit of an impact assessment. There was a report prepared, but that report never made it to planning.
I was asked by a caller to ask you a specific question. If the airport does not have a proper EIA as required by international standards, how might this affect airlines' willingness to operate flights into Dominica? Can you answer this question? Yes.
In two ways. Because there are international agencies that have to give permits and licenses to airlines to fly into any airport. Without those permits, those airlines would not be allowed to land because no insurance company would provide coverage to an airline that wants to fly into an airport which does not have permits and which by its absence of permits cannot be licensed for safety and to reduce the question of liability to the passengers and crew of the aircraft going to use that airport. So we better be aware that when the international airline authorities come to the point of considering licensing an airport for landing by international flights, that they will want to see all the documentation. And this documentation exists not only by national law, but by international law, so that you may find that your airport would be denied permits and licensing for landing because you have not taken all due care and attention in its construction to ensure that you minimize the prospects of accidents. Here's the situation in Wesley. The alignment for that airstrip, which we are being told by Mr. Johnson, they have put a base on, almost 10,000 feet. The alignment runs at right angles across the line of flow of water coming down from Mont Diablotin. During the research that was done for the EIA back in 2020, 2021, it was discovered that there are 7 major water courses, we call them in Dominica ravines, fed by water coming from Mont Diablotin. There are 7 of those ravines running right across the path over which we have now laid an airstrip. They cannot stop that water. The only way to stop that water would be to remove Mont Diablotin. They have been trying for months to channel that water that is coming down from Mont Diablotin and under the airstrip. Understand this one. The water is running through the soil that is under the airstrip. If you imagine that continuing to happen for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, what do you think is going to happen? Water does not ask for permission to run.
Mhm.
So the airstrip itself could end up being unsafe. I'm not saying that it will be, it could be. And that is what you need an environmental impact assessment for, to help you determine what is the likelihood of the compromising of any structure that you plan to put there.
I feel we have to wrap it up, of course, and I wanted to encourage those who are calling in to of course continue to pledge. This is what the exercise is about this afternoon. Thank you, though. Thank you for the contribution you've been making to this effort. Any final comments before you go?
Yes, I would want to say that people like Nazio Fontaine, Nazio is like a light shining in the darkness. Because here he is, a major international musical star from Dominica, and he's decided to stand up. I have one question. Where are our other major stars? Where are our other international stars? Why are they not seeing that they can sing about Dominica all they want? They can sing about the rivers. They can sing about the forest and the birds and the bees. But if they are not prepared to stand up and protect and defend and promote the integrity of these features of Dominica, they are merely hypocrites.
All right, caller. Thank you, Athi. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You wanted to make a point, Demargo, before we move on?
Yes, we are working in parallel efforts with the Kalinago Council, with the Debwash, Save the Debwash group, which is comprised of Janelle Brisbane, Gary, Auguste. They've already been on your show. I've given you the science aspects of what's happening out there, and the Marigot Council. So all these funds that you guys are sending in, thank you so much. This is to help all of us. It's not just for WAVE, because we are all working together to make this happen.
All right.
Thank you. And tomorrow, Saturday, it's World Forest Day. We will be up on Debwash with the shaman and his whole crew. We are going to have an amazing morning and bring the spirits, to solve, to help us solve
almost
it.
100 persons will be there tomorrow.
Well, we go in.
So the fight continues.
It's continuing.
It doesn't stop till victory.
And another $100 pledge there. The number is 276-9298. Okay, that's the one number. I gave you another 150 just a short while ago.
Yep.
And she wanted to make, of course, a comment quickly before we go on there. Let's try this one. Yeah.
Matt, good
150.
afternoon to you, and good afternoon to the entire panel.
Yeah.
Just tuning in, but I'll make a pledge, Matt. I always do, and I'll send you the amount, okay? But Matt, I'm thinking. I remember when Mr. David came to Q a couple times and spoke of the people up in Crapo Hall and what they're doing to him and taking away his land and, destroying everything around where he's dwelling. He couldn't even drink the river water anymore. He had to carry water and all of that. And he spoke about that a couple times. And nobody else moved. And nobody else said nothing. And no one else stood up with him.
Thank you, Doctor.
And I guess that's what it is. These people are pushing the envelope every time that people don't stand up. They push a little further. And they push until they get what they want. The thing is, how these people operate is to wear you out. So you go getting angry and you should get angry, because I'm not too sure how comes David is still, like in his right mind, because I would be crazy.
I'm not so sure I am.
But you have the people that are there, and what they're doing is to try to weigh you down.
That's true.
To the point where you get really upset, and it's a big brouhaha. And then, they wear you out until you finally just give up. I think the best way to approach this is the way you guys are doing it right now. Be sober about it, and not too much talking, but more action. Because really and truly, what is going to make things happen, it's not just the talk, but the walk.
Yep.
Yep. So I say keep going. Kudos to everyone who is standing for Dominica. And people tend to talk about its politics, or we don't want an airport. First of all, like it is said, if you don't campaign right, you can't govern right. And I think that if you're going to build an airport in an illegal fashion, with are we going to? Are their planes going to be allowed to land in this airport? Because for all you know, you might hear, well, planes can land there. It's not safe. You know, I everything it's a secret. Why the secret? And I heard Mr. David brought up a very good point about, whatever it is that they're building, and apparently they plan to live in the wash, and they're talking about the airport will finish in 2028. It does not make sense. It's not adding up.
Yeah.
The math is not mathing. I'm just saying this afternoon, Matt, have a great afternoon, everybody, and keep doing what you're doing. Always, always, always.
And
on
thanks
that.
for your pledge of
Goodbye.
150. We wrote that down before. Okay?
I give thanks.
Thank you.
I want to add something to
Go ahead.
that with a lot of love. First of all, I give thanks to the sister because believe me, in the beginning of this, I felt like a voice in the wilderness. And then when Praise Jah from Idrin, who stands up, Nasio, and then everybody starts to join in Praise Jah. It is true what the sister said, that the bully tries to wear you out. But the bully in himself has no force. He can only try to make you afraid. And I don't have no fear. What is right is right. We should be afraid of what God thinks of what we're doing. We should be afraid of what our ancestors think of what we're doing. We should be afraid of how our children will judge us if we don't protect them. This is where proper fear belongs. But fear of the enemy is an insult to the ancestors. Fear of the enemy is an insult to the Ireta Creator. We have an obligation to creation that provides for us, and that obligation is to protect it. Nobody planted the first mango tree, and nobody has the right to be the last one. We have to keep planting it so our children's children eat mango. We have to protect the river so our children's children bathe in that river. And I am very grateful for everyone. It's true, my navel string is not there. I get rebuked and say I'm born in America. They should deport me. They should. Let me tell everybody something from the bottom of my heart. I've heard so much insult and disrespect, which I don't mind because sometimes when the bully says ouch, it means you're hitting him. So here's what I find. I've lived most of my life in Dominica. And no matter where you're born, you have an obligation to protect where you are. It don't matter where you're born, my brothers and sisters. It matters what you do today, where you be.
She was saying there again. I think I have a pledge of $200 from 277-2004. $200 there. Again, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097.
I no longer fear the protection. Please wake up for me before it finish our country.
So a big activity, as you said, pledge for tomorrow. Plan
Yes.
for tomorrow.
We shall be there.
Yeah, be on the hill, baby. We're gonna be, it's for World Forest Day, so we do World Rivers Day, we do Earth Day, we do all these things. So, we're joining up with the Kainago Council, Marigot Council, and Save the Bush with Wave to, and the shaman will be there to do his whole, spiritual, activities. So
I saw him a couple days ago.
yeah, very powerful.
You ask, you wonder what is he saying, but it touches you. Huh?
Yep. You feel that.
Lango, yeah?
You feel it, man. And then that wind starts blowing and you're like, whoa. Yeah, it goes right through you. It's
Hello,
amazing.
talk to me. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Matt, good afternoon. Matt, thanks for everything, and for the sisters in the studio. I think to me what is nice about this afternoon is happening on a sort of umbrella that is umbrella-less, if you will. It is entirely civic. It doesn't come with political affiliation. It doesn't come with these identities and that. It doesn't come with any of those things. And I'm happy. I'm happy because as long as we don't penetrate beyond the political line, we will not create what we're trying to create. And so I hope we can keep this model. We can keep this model of meeting the people and asking them small portions to help the struggle. Define them properly. Reach out to them. Small portions. Because you have to be able to stand up after you speak for you to really struggle. And so I think we don't pay attention to resources in Dominica, and we don't structure resources into our organizational construct politically. And if we can have those kinds of things every now and then with the people, small portions, and let them realize where the struggle is heading and what the thing is for. And we can do a lot of things if we develop that model in Dominica currently. God bless.
God bless you, my brother. God bless you. All right. 449-3095-96 and 97. Dominica, we're going to do this. I will come right back right here on Q95.
South City Guabe. South City Guabe. South City Guabe. The repeat of the Global V1Q show of 12th March 2024 to commemorate the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution led by the infatigable UNICEF and others will take place on Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. on Q95 FM, the big station. Utan BMAC Medam. Monday 23rd March, 1:15 p.m. on the big station. Learn about the history of slave ownership on the Geneva Estate, the struggle of Grand Bay residents to get ownership of lands which had been occupied by their ancestors, and later the liberation of the people of Grand Bay and the expansion of the village and community onto the Geneva Estate. South City Guabe, South City Guabe, South City Guabe. Tune in on Monday, March 23rd at 1:15 p.m. to hear more about how it all happened, how the brave leadership of UNICEF and others helped securing ownership of the lands on the Geneva Estate for Grand Bay residents whose forefathers had worked on the lands but denied ownership for decades. The Global V1Q celebrating the heroes of the Grand Bay Geneva Revolution, Monday 23rd March at 1:15 p.m. only on Q95 FM, the big station.
Please get ready for the massive UWP General National Meeting in Lyon Saturday, March 21st. A massive crowd of patriotic Dominicans will gather to hear and to be informed of the state of the estate of Dominica. Team Dominica, the United Workers' Party, and thousands of dedicated supporters. Cost of living in Dominica is suffocating. Saturday, March 21st. Join the United Workers' Party. The silent majority is ready. From the north, the south, the east, and the west, an impactful lineup revealing shocking revelations. Stand with confidence for liberation and salvation. People in Dominica are fed, frustrated, disappointed, even betrayed. You are not alone. The masses will converge in line Saturday, March 21. Come join the crowd, be part of history with the UWP, the United Workers' Party. Power must change hands. This election cycle, it's all the way with the United Workers' Party. Surprising revelations.
Remember been for too long, but making no more.
Turn to stand for Dewash.
If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Dewash.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The courts. Call and make your contribution to save Dewash this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Dewash.
In Wesley City, till we taking blows. Can't sweep or wash your clothes. So I ask you, what are you doing inside Blue Box? You have a farm? You tell me, Gus, how tell sort. I've been married 37 years. Come out of my money farm. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Blue Box is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloom Box. Let's bloom together. She was fat and juicy, and used to want to dive in she. She was full of life and energy. She wiggled with vitality. You could find her anywhere that to go. Now she's a sprinkle of rip shot show. She looking magata. I hear they say they have got the was a ravens. They dying slowly. They trying and trying. And nobody don't want it. They chopping up her lips, all it name for rest. Now she dehydrated and looking in distress. All the champions at forestry and no longer bear to protect she. Please help us, Father, and say a prayer before cemetery. River of Kings. We have a river for every day. We used to always post and say,
We have just about 12 more minutes on this program, and of course, we asking those of you who want to make last minute pledges, feel free to do so.
they say we have no national. I love him as a ravens.
We spoke to, of course, we got a pledge there a minute ago, $200 by Mrs. Payne. Miss Payne, just put and give me the number. Miss Payne, yeah, Mrs. Payne. Sorry, yes, Maria Payne. All right, so let's see if we can get another voice note there. Good afternoon, yeah.
Matt, you know, I already tell you how much I must send you already.
Yes.
But Matt, let me say something to you and the listeners, not to you in particular,
right.
but this is coming to you. And I'm really disturbed by some people who call the radio and express how ignorant they are. It's disturbing when someone is doing something that is a worthy cause, Matt. Let me say to David, you don't know me, I don't know you, my brethren. But you're doing something to save the country. You're not doing it selfishly for yourself because your home has been destroyed. I now reside in your country, David. And I'm going to tell you what. This is my home. So I don't expect no less of you to make Dominica your home. And if you stand on principle for Dominica, because this is where you choose to be, you have your family members who were born and raised there, my brother, you're doing it for a worthy cause and you're doing it wholeheartedly. So when ignorance come true and try to express themselves to you, just let it run down your back like a banana leaf, like they say in the island, or a dashing leaf, my brethren. You know where you at now? You know what you're talking about, dashing and banana. Because you have some stupid people who don't understand what comes before. You understand? Yes, they say joy cometh in the morning. You toil at night, joy cometh in the morning. So the fight that you and the others, Nasio and the sister in studio are fighting is not a fight you alone fighting. There are many people helping in this fight. Yes, and I hope with my help, the fight will be glorious and victorious. Again, don't listen to ignorant people because my sister just sent a voice note a while ago, man. And she said when David was having problem, nobody stood. Now you see, they won't have a problem. And next thing, if they don't stand up, there will somebody else will have a problem. Yeah, my brethren, Auntie called. And he said, if the airport is not to standard, a plane ain't flying there. So it'll be a waste of billions of dollars for Dominica, my friend. And people must understand there is a time for nonsense and there's a time when you must stand up and stand up for a worthy cause and stop being so ignorant because the detriment to Dominica is a detriment to everyone, not just David or Nasio, IP or the sister in studio. We must understand this thing, man. We need to stop being so backward and stupid.
Yeah.
Straight up. My brother, good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.
One perfect love, my brother.
Yeah.
I truly give thanks for the strength. And the truth is, once we don't bend to the devil, we will come straight through to victory. The only way the devil wins is by intimidation and fear. We don't have that. We have victory in our eyes and we're going to reach the prize. And it's not surprising that when you light up your light to walk in Zion at night, all bugs come towards the light too. So it come with the journey that if you on your path following the light, you have to deal with the parasite that come in too. That's just part of the battle. We don't worry about that. We're eyes on victory.
I love your passion, David.
Blessed
You've
Lord.
always been passionate about this.
I know why I live in. I know what I live in for. If there's nothing you live for, then you die for nothing.
Michael Jackson. And this guy is standing for Dave Wash and all the environmental programs we have, the rivers, the mountains.
Creation. Creation.
What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about our feelings? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children in the world? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth is weeping young?
Just a few minutes before close down time. We did this for Dave Wash. Are there any other numbers you want to give, to contact you guys? So while you're not here in the studio, because
Well,
we're wrapping up.
Well, they can contact me by my telephone number 285-6976. I am a director of WAVE, an acting president. So your money's safe with me. Yeah, I just want to big up Zed Lloyd for actually setting up this radiothon, and some members of my team, Amy Laron, Alex Laron. That's my ride or dies. They really stand behind me in any way possible. Big up Athi, big up Nasio, big up Helen for sure. Them are the real soldiers out there. I can't be up there every day, but I go up when I can, and I will be there tomorrow on the hill. Debash, baby. Let's go. All right.
Dave Wash, baby. David, any final comments before you go? We have to wrap up.
No, I think enough has been said, and now is the time for action. I think that it's time to use our feet instead of our mouth. I'm glad for the gratitude for being on the radio and communication, but communication has to incite action, and now is the time for action.
Are you not giving up?
No, I told you 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I don't really have a choice. When the devil come knocking at your door, is your choice to defend your place or not. When I realized that it's not my fight, it's not your fight, there is no us and them. That's it. I want to say one thing, just a big up to the police. I this may sound strange coming from a Ras, but I want to say something to the police of Dominica, because over this last months and years, there's been a lot of communication and a lot of manipulation and a lot of frustration. But in reality, the police find themselves in a difficult position because they are being told from above that they are commanded, they must follow their orders, but they're being commanded from above to assist the Chinese to break the law. And they have not been brutal to us. We have reasoned with them, they have reasoned with us. There is no us and them, the only is us and us. There's good us, there's bad us, but we are going to suffer the same consequence. The only them is the colonialist. And we should be clear, we should know who the enemy is, and it's not each other. I hear people calling up with partisanship in a certain way. This is not about politics. People should be clear This is about a country's right to self-determination, and right now there's a colonial takeover, and that is being enabled by a government. It is time without politics to hold a government accountable to the law it tries to enforce. That is it. Have a blessed day, everybody.
Ago, David, thank you so much.
Thank you, MP, in the PM. Matt Peltier, you're the best, baby.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. The man in the mirror, you can make the difference.
Get ready for the massive UWP General National Meeting in Nayu Saturday, March 23rd. A massive crowd of patriotic Dominicans will gather to hear and to be informed of the state of the estate of Dominica. Team Dominica, the United Workers' Party, and thousands of dedicated supporters. Cost of living in Dominica is suffocating. Sunday, March 21st. Join the United Workers' Party. The silent majority is ready. From the north, the south, the east, and the west, an impactful lineup revealing shocking revelations. Stand with confidence for liberation and salvation. People in Dominica are hurt, frustrated, disappointed, even betrayed. You are not alone. The masses will converge in line Saturday, March 21. Come and join the crowd. Be part of history with the UWP, the United Workers' Party. Power must change hands. This election cycle, it's all the way with the United Workers' Party. Surprising revelations.
The man that's been for too long, not making no call.
Turn to stand for Dewash.
If you want to kill me or you plan to kill me, go right ahead and do it, brother. I have no fear of nothing, no one at all.
Don't allow the authorities to destroy nature, the rivers, the mountain, the nature isle.
Don't call and complain about Dominicans not standing up. Where are you?
Make the call. Save Dewash.
It's not a war against the people. It's a war against wicked principalities in high and low places.
They're taking it to the next level. The court. Call and make your contribution to save Dewash this Friday, 1 to 3. Make that call. Save Dewash.
We taking close. Gas we more wash your clothes.
Your home. Visit Universal Elegance today, where comfort meets style. Whether you're looking to uplift your living room, bedroom, kitchen, or bathroom, we've got all the perfect pieces to transform your space. From cozy sofas, elegant dining sets, home electronics, to home appliances. But that's not all. We've got a lot of amazing deals and prices for you as well. Hurry in today at Universal Elegance. Call us at 448-5100 or visit our appliance department at 45 Great George Street, opposite the Austin's University, or our homes department next to the Green Supermarket. Also, you can shop online at www.buymuslims.com. Come in, Your dream room awaits you.
Universal Elegance.
Locally born, locally grown.
Place to shop.
Dominica Softball Cricket Association, in collaboration with the Elias Dupy Foundation, proudly presents the Elias Dupy Tip Ball Cricket Festival, all in honor of the late Elias Dupy. Join us Easter Sunday and Easter Monday at the Ansdume Playing Field in the northeast of the island for 2 days of softball cricket action. Games begin 11 a.m. on Easter Sunday and 9 a.m. on Easter Monday, featuring top teams from the north and northeast of Dominica, including Benz, Peebush, Penville, Calabishi, Marigot, Wesley, Woodford Hill, and Portsmouth, all competing for over $3,000 in prizes. Make this Easter one to remember with thrilling cricket, community spirit, and great entertainment. April 5th and 6th at the Ansdume Playing Field. Catch the action live on radio, Facebook, YouTube.